So first race of the season done at Silverstone GP, and it's highlighted some issues with the car, unfortunately. So some ongoing issues that we've been having since I bought the car, realistically, issues with the rear brakes, and after a season, my first season last year of racing, the gearbox is also on its way out. So having to go for some upgrades and sort some bits out before we move on to the next race, which will hopefully be at Speedfest Brands Hatch in June. I've just missed Thruxton circuit, annoyingly, because the car just wasn't ready. So I'm going to run through a few bits of what I'm doing and what I need to do. Wow, what a hilly circuit. So the car is up on stands at the moment. It's got its new livery on, in case you haven't seen that, and basically gearbox is out, new gearbox waiting to go in. So this is the old gearbox, which is a Borg Warner top loader 4-speed. Fairly good boxes, standard for, sort of period correct, but yeah, it's just not up to the harsh reality of racing, unfortunately. So what I'm doing is I'm upgrading to this box. So it's a Tex Racing gearbox, rated for up to 700 brakes. I'm absolutely nowhere near that with my with the power that my car has, but yeah, so it's essentially Chevy spline, input output splines. So a lot of things have had to change. So if you could compare the splines on the old box to the new one, and also there's a difference in length between the gearboxes as well. So the new one is a lot shorter, which changes quite a few things. It changes obviously the length of the gearbox, so then changes the prop shaft, which we've got a new one here as well, which I'll show you. But it's also going to change where the shifter mounts. So I've just picked this shifter mount up. It's not necessarily the correct one for this box. I'm just playing around with how and where it can sit, and then we've got a couple of shifters here to try. I think this one, being an offset shifter, is going to be the one I'll need rather than a straight one, because basically this whole setup is a lot further over to the right, sorry, over to the left, so it's more towards the driver. So if I now put the shifter there with a straight up orientation, it's going to pull the shifter lever too far over to the driver, which will affect the driving position, and also it will hit in the transmission tunnel. So this one's an offset shifter, which I haven't tried yet in the car, but I'm hoping it's at least going to take it a little bit further over to the passenger side. Might need to make some further adjustments. And then I've also had to get a new shifter as well, shifter lever. So I've got her shifter lever, which will go in, but I'm a little bit off getting that in there yet. So the only thing I do need to do is try and work out, so get the shifter. What I want to do first, I'm going to put the gearbox in the car and then see basically where the shifter mount sits in relation to the gearbox tunnel, the opening, and try and just get an idea of where and how it sits before I bolt it in all properly and decide how that's going to sit. And then the other thing I need to do is try and figure out which gear is which, but also get all these shifter linkages on, which will connect to the shifter itself there. So yeah, a few things I've had to change or need to change on the actual new gearbox. So this snout is incorrect for my application, because I have a throw out bearing, release bearing, from which I'm retaining from the original Ford setup. So I've had to get a slightly different size, so different thickness. This is also longer in length than this one on the box. So that would enable the throw-out bearing to sit nicely on there and travel when I use the clutch without it all rattling around. Other things, so the pilot bearing for the back of the engine, where this end of the gearbox spline sits. So the original Ford one, again, different thickness, so I've had to change that to a Chevy one. And then also the clutch plate itself, I had to go for a different spline because that's what sits on here. So I'm retaining the same size or diameter clutch as before, so an 11-inch clutch disc, but just had to change it out for a different spline basically. Same with the prop shaft. If I can get that off. New spline for the output shaft, which again is different to what I had on here before, and then because the new gearbox is shorter in length, I've had to get a whole new prop shaft made. That was the old one that I've had to take out. So that's where we're up to so far. When I go to put it in, I'm then going to have some issues with the actual gearbox mount itself, so that's something that I'm going to have to check once I get it semi-bolted in and jacked up in sort of the more or less where I want it to go. And then I'll most likely have to fabricate a new or purchase a new gearbox mount as well that's suitable for the Chevy transmission on the Ford chassis. So yeah, quite a few things to sort of modify. So if you are thinking about taking on a gearbox swap in your Mustang, it's worthwhile just sort of taking this into consideration because it's quite an extra cost as well on top of what is already an expensive gearbox. So an uprated racing gearbox, which is brilliant, which is exactly what I need. Better ratios, and just a stronger box all round as well. So hopefully when I do start adding engine power in the future, it's going to be a lot more future proof. But there are a lot of costs and modification involved in doing that swap. So just to try and give you a bit of an idea, this is where the pilot bearing sits. It's in the back of the crank there. I attempted the grease method where you fill it with grease and then you can pressurise the old bearing out, but that didn't work, so I needed a puller. And then this is the shifter hole where I was saying, but I think even with the offsetted or the offset on the new shifter, it's probably still going to be hitting this side of the trans tunnel, so I'll probably have to cut a bit out, but we'll see when we get there. What I want to do is just mount the gearbox in place in all this area, and then see from there. Basically, that's my starter motor hanging down. I think that's about dead as well, so that's great. I'm going to need a new starter. I did look to change the exhaust manifolds out for some hypo headers I've got, but they're not going to make much difference, and I'd have to refab all the exhaust as well, so, and also change out the Z bar, which is that bit there. So I think just to get me going, I'm not going to bother with any of that at this time. Now, bell housing is back on, flywheel's back on, and clutch pressure plate and throw-out bearing, release fork, so all back in place. I'm now just going to try and fit the gearbox because I then need to see about the shifter positioning. Just hoping that all of these internals stay exactly where they need to be, because if I need to pull the box out again to fit the rods and things, then it might disturb the throw-out bearing, but we'll see. I'm just going to leave the exhaust off, starter motor and stuff off for now. I've not fully bolted the bell housing in just around the bottom and things, so it's more of just a trial fit, just to make sure that we get in the pilot bearing and can work the shifter out. So there's quite a lot of this I haven't actually recorded, so just to give a bit of an overview on where we're up to. Gearbox is in, as you can see. So it was a bit of a tight fit in the end. I think the new pilot bearing seemed a bit tight on the input shaft. So, I mean, it's in, it's fine, but it was a bit of a struggle. Hence why I didn't record it all, because it was a bit of a pain in the ass. I've had to make some modifications to the previous gearbox mount. It's not perfect, but it's fine for now. I think I'm going to order a Chevy specific gearbox mount and then modify, but I just need to get it up and running for now. So I've got the prop shaft on as well, and then ultimately what I'm trying to do now is fabricate some kind of mount for the shifter, and then we've got these rods to go in which will connect to the, as you can see, the gear shifters there on the gearbox. So those two levers, tabs, and then there's a third one there for reverse at the back. I think I'll need to make some modifications to the gearbox mount somewhere around here as well, because when the shifter's on and we try and connect the rods and change gear and stuff, I think this is going to be in the way. So I'll probably have to make a cut, like an L-shaped cut, and then weld a couple of bits of plate in just to reinforce it again. But I'll worry about reverse gear when I get there. Now, this is a mount that I've just made, and I've tested a couple of different shifters in the car, which I'll show you in a sec. Basically, I've just marked around here now where the shifter I think is going to sit, and I'm just going to take this off now, because this is only 5mm plate, so I'm going to cut out another one the same, and then bolt them together to make a 10mm plate, hopefully a bit stronger, less flex, etc. But I'm going to have to test it and see, and go from there. So I'll get that off and then we'll have a proper look. Okay, so now you can see a bit better the plate that I've made. What I do need to do is trim it right across the top there. In fact, I'll mark that now just to remember. That whole section off, which will allow the shifter to move around. I need to add a bit of material on, so on the next plate I'm going to do, I'm just going to come over 10-15mm and then just straight up there. But apart from that, that's fine. I can add a bit of material on this side as well, but probably won't need to. I might just go a bit more vertically there, I'll see. And then shifter wise, I've got two options. I think I've decided which one I'm going to use. Now this one is one that I thought I was going to use, which is basically a bit more vertical. It's straight up in the middle of the car, but it's actually a little bit lower. So as you can see, put them side by side, this one pushes the shifter lever more into the middle of the car, so it's further away from me, but it does also bring it up higher as well. And then the lever, the shifter handle that I've got, does have a left kink in it anyway, so it sort of sits fairly central in the car, but it does just sit a lot higher. And so I've just sort of tested it as best I can. It's not all properly mounted in, but just with the steering wheel on and stuff like that, to sort of put my hands to it, it's just a bit just a bit of a better position and less of a throw, with it being higher up and closer to me, etc. So I think this is the chosen one in the end. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to mark out another bit of plate, cut this out again, join them together, and then we'll look to try and mount this properly in the car. And then we need to try and figure out how the actual shifter rods are going to work. That'll be the next thing. This now hopefully gives you a better idea of, if I can get in, the shifter location. So what I've done for now is 2 plates of 5mm alley, just cut and bolted together. The shifter's locked in neutral at the moment, so I can't move it. But as you can see, I've had to make quite a few modifications to the trans tunnel to widen it out. That was the original hole where the original shifter would have come around about here and then sort of leant over. Now this is an offset shifter to the right, and then the shifter handle has a bit of a left offset. Now actually, because it's quite a taller shifter, although it's sort of quite in the middle of the car, it seems to sit quite well for me. Ultimately with the wheel on, it's just a short short distance to go to it, so I quite like that seating position and gear change. The other shifter, I've not got in here I don't think, was a straight one and a lot shorter as well. So the shifter lever sort of sat right here, right next to my leg. I was a bit concerned that A, it was low, and also it's maybe a bit too close to my leg, you know, sort of racing and moving around and stuff. So I think this is the better option of the two. I will have to make good around here, and I'll probably get someone to do me a proper mount as well. If they can CNC cut a mount or something for me, I'll have some proper 10mm alley plate instead of those two pieces together. It seems alright, there's a little bit of flex in it, not a lot, but you're not going to be really shifting that hard. And also I can sandwich some steel plate either side of it to stop any movement at all. I'll put some supports in if I need to. So that's that, and then for the shifter rods, this is challenging. Basically what I'm having to do is create something out of the rods I've been given, because of course they don't actually fit the car. So I found some old brake pipe, and what I've done with that is I've gone under the car and I've managed to make it the shape I need. Just to the end of it there. I can't cut this because I need to do a longer one yet as well. And then basically I'm just going to heat this up and try and manipulate that shape to how I want it to match this brake pipe here, and then we'll then put it in the car. So yeah, I'll get on with that, and then we need to try and test it, see if it all works. That'll be the next thing. I think I've got reverse on. It's popped out, but that rod does fit reverse and links up to the box quite well, so that one didn't need any changing, but the other two will. So underneath the car now, we can get a bit of an idea of what I've had to deal with. I kind of stupidly started putting the exhaust back on, thinking, oh, that's fine, it'll all just, you know, it'll all work and go into gear, won't it, and be fine. And now it's in the way of my linkages if I need to make any adjustments. So that was a bit stupid, but anyway. So the new prop shaft, I think I've already shown you anyway. The new shifter mount that I've made, it's just 2 plates of 5mm alley, which isn't amazing. It does flex a bit, so I'm going to weld. I need to cover up the transmission tunnel anyway, so I'm going to weld some steel plate in there close to it, so it's got something to stop against. So I've used the original gearbox mount, but I've had to basically just drill some new holes in the top end, like the gearbox side, and get it as best I can. It's not perfect. I think I'm going to order like a Chevy mount and make fit, but I just need to get going really for my race next weekend. And yeah, so you can kind of see the rods. I've used 3 different kinds of rods and had to sort of bend and shape and do whatever to get them in. So that's kind of all right. So now let's see in the car and see what happens when we try and get some gears it's fair to say this has been a little bit of a journey. What a horrible job. Thinking about changing your gearbox to one that's not meant for the car, just don't do it, just don't bother. Or pay someone to do it, because I'm stupid and I decided to do it all myself. I've had to learn absolutely everything, fabricate everything, shifter mount, all the shifter rods, the gearbox mount, new bearing in the back of the block, the pilot bearing, new clutch disc, new prop shaft. It's been a slog, honestly, but I think we're nearly there. So let me show you where this is up to, and hopefully we can start her up and test the gears as well. Okay, I've got to admit, things have progressed slightly since that last clip. I got a bit carried away. Well, I did actually film a full little rundown of what I did, but it didn't film the sound for some reason, so we're going to do it again, shorter version. But I have boxed all this in, so this is where the previous hole was for the original shifter. My gear knob's just turned up today as well, so things are looking really good in here. If I can get the wheel on. Now, you might not be able to tell, but the gear is it's such a good throw. It's just in the perfect reach, just right next to me here. Where our up gear are we in? So we've got first, second, third, fourth, and then push down and up into reverse, sorry. So it's working perfectly. And then what I've done is, just where there was a little bit of flex in the mount that I made, just basically butted the boxing in the steel plate right up to it, so there's no flex now in the mount. Just been down the road, oh my god, it's got such a beautiful whine to the gearbox, and it just shifts so nicely. Fourth doesn't have as good a kind of like, you don't feel like it's in. It's not like, I think it's the rods. So first, second and third, you get like that double click in. Fourth, it just goes in, but it does work really well. So I'm not too bothered about that. It's just that feel. I just have to get used to that now, being that is fourth rather than the kind of click in. But it's all good. I've had a bit of a clean up in here because things were getting a bit out of hand with all the grinding. I need to stick this on, which is my fire extinguisher activation, but I've got coming a racing gear gaiter and fireproof gear gaiter to go on here as well, so that will sit nicely on this lovely new mount I've made, and then cover it all up, and that will look good. But gear changes are great, and yeah, not much more to report really. It just drives really nicely, shifts really nicely. I love how the shifter is right next to me now as I'm driving. I've changed the proportioning valve as well for the rear brakes in the car. I've got that wound all the way out, so hopefully I'm now going to get more pressure, or better pressure to the front than there was before. I found some issues on the back where I was getting a load of lateral movement in the right rear, so I've plated that up, and I've done all sorts. I've added some brake ducting to the rear drums. I've drilled loads of breather holes in the back plates, etc, etc. So yeah, loads and loads has been going on. I've had to swap the radiator out, do the coolant. I've done my air filter topper. It's been a busy couple of weeks. It's been a bit mad really, so I haven't recorded a lot of it because it's just been insane, absolutely non-stop. But how cool is it to say that you're racing something you built yourself in your own garage? So, you know, that, love it. As much as I hated the last couple of weeks, struggling with the gearbox on top of me, laying under the car, it's awesome. So hopefully it performs well on track. I'm sure there'll be some teething issues, as there always are, but yeah, really looking forward to it. So hopefully next videos I'll be showing you some Ford v Chevy and Speedfest content. So definitely come back for that, because it's going to be such a mega weekend at Brands Hatch. And yeah, if you, for any reason, don't know why you would, but if you do like what you're watching, come back for some more.